42. Dear Kiddo, take my hand into darkness. When I returned from Ireland, I packed up and hit the road for Seattle, finally embarking on the solo road trip I had been dreaming of. It was time for a fresh start, some self-discovery, and a whole lot of not dealing with my mother's chaos. Or so I thought. For some reason, some deep, primal, self-destructive reason, I was still attached to her. And, as if bound by some supernatural law of dysfunction, she was still attached to me. Mom kept contacting me regularly, her presence lingering like a bad perfume you can't scrub off. But it wasn't just contacting me. Oh no, that would be too normal. Mom had a habit of shadow traveling. Wherever I went, she coincidentally had a trip planned in that exact location, or she would suddenly decide to go somewhere right after I had been there. It had happened before, Cabo San Lucas, for instance, but that glorious mess was still in the future. This time, she had already planned a trip with Charlie, the father of her unborn child, to Oregon wine country, right around the same time I was visiting my sister in Bend. Because, of course, she had. The woman had kept all her Airbnbs and the entire itinerary from the trip she had originally planned with her other lover. A normal person, upon realizing that their romantic getaway partner was no longer in the picture, would cancel the trip or rework the plans. But not Mom. She simply pivoted, repurposing her relationship disaster into a brand new chapter of our ongoing psychological thriller. And so, against all better judgment, I met up with her. We spent a few days in Bend, then a night at the Timberline Lodge near the top of Mount Hood, a place I had wanted to stay at for years because it was the exterior location for The Shining. Nothing like spending a night in the hotel from one of the greatest horror movies ever made with the actual human embodiment of psychological horror. Surprisingly, we had a good time. We drank, we laughed, we explored. She didn't even try to speak in a fake French accent. It was almost normal. Almost. But then, as we drove to the Portland airport, reality set in. She was pregnant with another man's baby, and here I was, still somehow entangled in her nonsense. It was like being in a bad soap opera, where the writers had completely lost control of the plot. And finally, I snapped out of it. As we pulled up to the airport curb, I turned to her and said, "I'm not interested in a relationship with you." That was it. Simple. Direct. No dramatic monologue. No need to elaborate on how I had, at long last, seen her true level of insanity. She looked at me, stunned. For once, she didn't have control of the narrative. And as she wheeled her suitcase toward the terminal, still pregnant with Charlie's baby, I felt something close to freedom. But deep down, I knew this wasn't the last time I would hear from her.